At the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain the impact of frictional forces, describe methods of reducing the frictional forces, and describe some practical applications of frictional forces. Various parts of most of the machines and instruments that we use daily are in contact with other parts. When we operate these machines and instruments, these parts slide on one another, giving rise to frictional forces. Therefore, when machines are operated, an excessive amount of additional work has to be done against frictional forces, causing a loss of energy. This loss of energy appears as heat and sound, which sometimes raises the temperature of the object. If we could reduce frictional forces, then we would be able to minimize the energy loss and the rise of temperature. Yet, friction enables motor vehicles to move without sliding or skidding. When the grooves of tires depreciate, the friction between the tire and the road will decrease so that the vehicle tends to skid. In this lesson, we learn some methods that can be used to decrease the frictional forces and some practical applications of frictional forces. Reducing the roughness of the contact surfaces or polishing them decreases the frictional forces among two contact surfaces. Also, inserting rollers or balls that could roll between two contact surfaces reduce the frictional forces among them by helping to roll one over the other by reducing the depreciation of parts. The vehicles and machines with stationary parts such as axles are fabricated in this manner by introducing ball bearings or roller bearings to connect the rotating parts. By applying lubricators such as grease, graphite or lubrication oil between two contact surfaces reduces the frictional forces among them by making the movement easy. Though there are disadvantages of friction, sometimes friction is useful to us. If friction is not there, it would be difficult for us to walk. The grooves of the shoes that we wear help us to walk by increasing the friction between the leg and the surface. When we walk on an oily or lubricated surface, the friction between the surface and the leg decreases and thereby makes us slip and fall. Friction is used in vehicle's brake system as well. When the wheels of the vehicle are moving, the discs attached to the wheels also rotate with them. When we push the brake pedal, the brake pads press the discs attached to the wheels by making the vehicle stop. The higher friction between the brake pads and the disc helps the moving vehicle come to rest. The motor vehicles which travel on wet roads tend to skid because of low friction due to the water layer that exists between the road and the tire. Grooves on the bicycle brake shoes and tires help to have a higher friction among surfaces. The purpose of having grooves on the surface of tires is to allow water to pass through these grooves to increase the friction between the surface and the tire. The higher friction among the coir fibers makes the coir rope more vulnerable for slipping, so that even with a higher force it would not be easy to separate the fibers in a coir rope. Untying a knot on a nylon string is much easier than a coir rope. This is because the frictional force among the coir fibers are stronger than those among the nylon fibers. In this lesson, we studied about the impact of frictional forces, the method of reducing the frictional forces, and some practical applications of frictional forces.
Candela, smart learning for greater knowledge. Grade 6 to 11 science, based on the local curriculum. To order online, log on to www.candelalearning.lk or call us on 0777 185 329.